Good morning. It is Friday, and this is the Friday Grief Chat with Jill and Deb. And
Oh
it's a
my
whole
gosh.
different kind of week,
Yeah,
and it's been a whole different kind of emotional roller coaster. I'm Jill.
I'm Deb, and my t-shirt for today says this,
I'm fine. Everything's fine,
right?
right?
And I am lying to you right here live I am just totally lying. Um, I
Because
will
everything's
say,
not fine.
yeah, everything is not fine. And many people know that I have had cataract surgery and a little iffy because of corneal stuff. He said, my eyes look great. I actually, I take my glasses off, I put them on. There's parts that work. These are an old pair of glasses, and in a month, my eyes will have been settled down. And so many people say, are you seeing clearly? And my answer this week is I am seeing the flowers and my cat and the TV and the couch. Even the sink is very clear. It was sort of yellowish. I didn't know how yellow till I got new eyeballs. So, with
But
that,
emotionally,
emotionally, I am not seeing clearly
and in
because
the grief,
I I'm not it I have grief because this is not the world I thought about.
and
I
that's actually why we started this program, because the world was not the world as we knew it in 2020.
That's
And
right.
we were separated by distance, and now we're separated by politics and anger and intense grief
And religion and
and
everybody thinks they
interpretations of
know,
religion.
everybody thinks they know what is right and perfect. And my eyes, there is no cataract surgery in the world that's going to make me see any of that more clearly.
And
I
that's why we used Misha as our intro for
Yes.
today, because we find him to be super positive. And his statement yesterday or this morning or whenever it was, that we don't need to have those visuals in front of us, and nobody needs to say that somebody's death is to be celebrated. None of that is necessary, and none of it's good for us. And especially having your phone flashing with videos of children being shot in school, of parents running to a school, of someone being assassinated on a school campus.
What
None
about
of
the
that.
Ukrainian woman?
The
This is a
Ukrainian
war.
woman being stabbed to death on a train. It's like Mary Jo Kopechne, from for those who don't remember the 1960s, when she was stabbed on her street in New York in front of a row of brownstones, and nobody came. Everybody heard, and
So
nobody came.
I want to jump in to explain
Yeah,
who Misha is. Misha is an influencer that has been around for quite a while. It's his, what do you call it? Tagline is "Don't piss off a gay man."
right.
And he, uh, Misha, if you're watching, I love that you walk your talk and you're always thinking about how to contribute to the light of this world,
How to
how
make it
to
positive.
and how to connect with people, how to connect people, or you step up and you connect with them. You use your money for others. There's so much of your cameos. I'm going to have you sing to somebody at some point. And I really appreciate you, Misha. And this week, he got on and he just went, this is just wrong.
It's
This
not
is
normal, and
wrong.
it's not okay.
And it's not okay to see two deaths play out in real time and afterwards over and over. So
It's just not.
Jill is the therapist, and she knows about re-traumatizing yourself, and with sort of being addicted to watching some of these things, having it 24/7 in the 60s, by the way,
Right.
while we had pictures of the Vietnam War, pictures, maybe some video, and we heard machine guns. Two things were very different in the 60s. One, we had 4 channels. Yeah, I lived in Chicago. WGN, ABC, NBC, we had 5 channels. NBC, CBS, and PBS. We had 5 channels.
And they couldn't go with you.
No.
They didn't go with you in your car.
And they shut off they shut off at midnight with like it was sort of creepy. It was like a test pattern of some sort, but it looked like a nuclear sign, the nuclear reactive sign.
The national anthem.
And played the national anthem.
Showed the flag.
It was fun.
It was snow. We had white noise. We literally had white noise on every channel. So if you fell asleep, you fell asleep to white noise, not pixels and stuff and blaring news.
Talking and all this stuff. So we did not see, let's put it this way. We had at least 6 hours of a break. And then we didn't have stuff 24/7. We didn't have even the radio 24/7 sometimes, but it can't show you pictures. It can describe things. And so now we are having murders in front of us, real people.
Over and over and over. I will tell you, I've not watched any of those videos. The minute they pop up, I block them, skip over them. I don't need trauma. I work with people as a grief therapist who have had loved ones featured on some of these other videos. I won't tell you which ones or in what context, but their loved ones' deaths have been videotaped. Their loved ones have died in car accidents, and someone has posted the pictures of the body on the ground with the sheet over. It's not necessary. It's just not.
And Jill and I are 2 people that will talk about the ugly side of life. We will. We started this to help people understand in 2020, okay, you cannot have your funeral this way. Here's 15 other ways to have a funeral. We give permission to do things differently. And the best we can do here is say, don't keep looking. Even if you've never had any of your family members murdered or whatever, when you keep playing these over and over, and you even watch, how like during 2020, 5 of us looked at bra ads because we wanted to see something else. They're clocking how long you're looking at a bra ad.
Right.
And it's the same way you give energy, your eyeball energy, your picture energy to people who are murdered on screen. They're going to keep showing it. But when we track that, and don't pay attention for a while, it goes away. It shows less.
It shows dog videos. It shows, look at if you have to be on social media right now, and by the way, you don't, but if you have to be on social media, find something better. You may not agree. the woman who was murdered on the train, dear Lord, she had survived a war zone. Charlie Kirk, personally, not a fan. Do I think that what happened to him was right? No, absolutely not. Murder is never, I'll say it for both of us, murder is never okay. Never. Not ever.
And now it's political violence. It's called
political
violence.
We need to tone it down. I do track the folks who say negative things about different kinds of communities because I'm part of those communities. Sorry, dog evacuation. And because I work in those communities.
That's right.
I do, but I don't think anyone ever should be targeted for violence.
You know, someone brought up about free speech, and free speech is a right in this country. We have a right to exist. Oh, Brittany, yes.
Brittany, the news overshadowing the school shootings. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. And we have a right to say things without fear. People are forgetting that. We have a right to say and do. I'm going to take the 70s. Nobody was murdered when the Nazis said, we are going to march through Skokie, which back then in the 60s and 70s was very much home to a lot of Holocaust survivors. Right. And then their children that they were having at that time. The long ad that came out in the newspaper said to the leader then and to everyone else, once again, free speech by the Jews, that said, you are allowed to march through Skokie. And what we will do, nobody got murdered, nobody was shot at, nobody said anything else except we will be putting horse manure along the entire path, because that was a civil right. It was creative, and you didn't have to see anybody get murdered for a political stance. The murders had all happened in the Holocaust. Why would you have to do this again? So I know we're sort of mixing up a few things.
I would like us
traumatize yourself and others
is unnecessary.
Please don't.
Listen to the words from the governor of Utah today.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to the words from the other leadership in Utah. The federal leaders have not been so terrific in my humble free speech opinion in terms of being supportive without divisive.
Bernie Sanders, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I meant like the top leadership. But
no,
we've had a lot of other people who've been great, and the Utah leaders were phenomenal today. And said, tone it down, bring it together.
Yes.
Support the widow and children. And to that end, support the family of the woman on the train. Support the families who had to race to school and sit by the hospital. Support the families who just buried their children last week. We don't need all of it. Support the families whose loved ones were assassinated 12 weeks ago. And then let's stop.
What about just this week? One of those kids died. And
I didn't know that. I was trying to track that and I couldn't get confirmation of that.
Yes, at least one out of the wounded has died. And it's almost like, Jill, there is so much chaos. Where do you put your where do you put your heart?
Where do you put
And
the energy?
what
Where do you let the grief out?
what are we grieving? Maybe that's something. What is it? Are we just grieving lives? Are we grieving a lot? To me, I'm just saying me, I feel like I am grieving a loss of order. And we talked about that last week. And
This is
now
pure chaos. And this happened on 9/11. 24 years ago on 9/11.
we had 9/10 here. It happened on
Oh,
the
9/10,
10th.
that's right. We have on 9/11 we had Gander. I know on 9/11
Right.
we had Quebec. We had other places around the world who took people in. We
Let's
had
explain what Gander is, because there
Gander.
are people listening, they might not know.
Gander is a town. Actually, it's also the place where they direct planes all over the North Atlantic. But they took in hundreds of planes when they had to bring all the planes down on 9/11. It was immediate, every plane on the ground as soon as possible, without word to the passengers why they were sitting in Canada for no
Right.
apparent reason with thousands of other people. And they made it work. They took them into schools and churches and homes and hospitals. And it happened around the world, right? We had Queen Elizabeth had the palace guard play the national anthem. That had
That's
never happened. And we're the country that threw them out, right? And they were playing our national anthem in their cathedrals and in front of the palace.
yes.
We had a coming together. And now we have a coming apart. We can't fix the school shootings because as long as people have guns, and I am a gun owner, but as long as people have guns that are not operated properly and contained properly and out of the hands of people who shouldn't have them, we're going to continue to have this culture of violence. But maybe we can start talking about the violence as completely unacceptable. Don't foment it. Don't say we're going to declare war on this person or this group or that group. Stop it.
Apparently in Chicago, or in Illinois, there has been a study how violent talk and talk of violence sort of incite violence. At the
Yes.
University of Illinois in the 70s, I forget the person's name, maybe somebody watching will know, he talked about violence on TV and how that incites violence. And they found yes and no on that through the years. However, recently, if you talk about, well, I'm just going to shoot this guy, and maybe you don't even own a gun, right? And you say stuff, you don't realize how that collects more energy to it's an energetic thing. I'd rather collect connectiveness than divisiveness. One of the things that Misha does is he connects. He
Yes.
connects, you know, he connects without saying, well, I'm gay and look at me, I can do that. He happens to be gay, and he talks about this sweet little woman that he's been taking to church. He found her in a restaurant and she was all by herself. So he started up a conversation, and then one thing led to another. So he takes her to her church, and he says he introduces who he is, blah, blah, blah. And these other church ladies go like this. Someone says, well, we just don't believe in that sort of thing here. And, you really don't belong here. And his sweet little old lady that takes care of, maybe she's not that old, maybe she's my age, who knows?
Right,
And
because he's young.
yeah, she says, she doesn't say anything. I guess she rolled her eyes as if to affirm, I don't care. I don't believe that. But she didn't argue with her friend. She didn't verbally stand up with Misha and say to her friend, hey, that's not right. But she connected with Misha to know it's okay. And you know what? I have had people on both sides do that with me. It's okay that you're Jewish. It's okay that you're white, right? When I've gone to, a Baptist church, or I'm one of the very few white people
You're
in,
welcome.
yes, I was still welcome. So it's how do we show more connectiveness in the world than divisiveness? How does that happen? And why is that important? Go ahead. I'm done. I'm off my soapbox.
I'm quoting you right now on the content, and the written comments.
Demonstrate that.
How do we allow room for the grief? How do we share so that we can come together with the sharing? How do we do that? And let me use myself. Go ahead.
Well, okay. One of the things I was thinking about, because there's something in my own life that was being played out politically. And what I see is both sides wants to be validated. Sometimes you want to be validated. How can we connect without saying, I think you are right, I think you are wrong? There has got to be some way of doing that. When someone is right, someone's got to be, and I'm making a pun here, left, right? When someone is wrong, somebody is right. And to think in these absolutes, well, one, this to me looks like a giant jigsaw puzzle, and I am not able to put together a 2,500 piece jigsaw puzzle. I'm lost. I'm lost in the feelings of grief that I'm inadequate, nothing makes sense. So I'm just talking about some of my own and what other people talk about. And it's these polarizations. It's can we meet? I often talk about our neighbors. For the first time, she said, well, if it's our friends that are saying you're weird, what do your friends think about us? And I go, oh, you're weird too. And she goes, what? She never thought about it's only us because Daryl and I, deviate from a Christian norm that my neighbor is used to. Right? Mm-hmm. What about all my friends and congregants and people?
And there has been an increase in anti-Semitism, a dramatic increase.
Yes.
My Jewish friends and family are certainly feeling it.
I'm
feeling it along with them. Yes. It's dangerous, just like everyone else. All the othering puts everyone who's an other in danger.
I like how you said that. Otherings. Mm-hmm. If you're not left, you're right. If you're not right, you're wrong. If you know what I mean? If you're not white, you're other.
Can we just be people?
Can we just be people? Can we
respect all the faiths?
Yeah. And
Can we
not
do that?
everybody
Can we
believes
say
in
it's
the
okay
God.
that someone is not sharing your faith and that doesn't make them
Wrong.
anything less or wrong? It makes them them and valuable and unique.
You know, I hate to sound like Angela Lansbury in A Tale as Old as Time. You
Right.
know, look at I Moses had to leave a polytheistic religion. It wasn't working for them. It was not. And there was complete and utter chaos. We're all leaving. We're all leaving. Before we leave, here's what's going to happen. Here's what I'm being told that's going to happen, but I have no reason to think it's actually going to happen, but it is actually going to happen, right? It's sort of like Moses was a divine protester.
So my question is, how did Moses show his people how to grieve as they walked away?
Oh,
How did they grieve?
he was flummoxed. Think about it. They were all grieving. In
Right.
fact, in their revolt, they're like, that's it. We're going back to a golden calf. We're making something that's familiar to us.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to melt. We're going to go back to the familiar, our old ways. And he's like, no, you're not. This is what you're supposed to do.
Can we go back to not carrying the news in our pockets at all times? Can we just make a decision not to have constant contact, not to have constant feeds of stuff that no human being should see? We do trauma work for first responders because they have to see this stuff.
Right.
We do trauma work for the cops and the criminal investigators who have to watch all the tapes after something terrible happens.
That's right.
We're not them.
No.
And they have to have special help for that. And as humans, we're not meant to see this kind of stuff. We're not built for it. Our brains aren't made for it.
However, people like you and I, Jill, I'm just going to say, we're built for talking about the uglies in life, but we are not necessarily built for experiencing, seeing them 100% of the time.
For the secondhand trauma, it's the vicarious trauma. It's not necessary.
That's right.
If you want to take the grief and the sadness and the anger down, stop dipping in. Stop. Exactly. You don't need to watch the videos. Delete them, block the groups, maybe not the friend, but the original sender who had it. Block it. Get rid of it. Don't watch it on your home TV. Don't watch it on your computer. It's not needed.
If you feel the need or the addiction to, someone said, playing games and stuff on your phone all the time is sort of like the new cigarette.
Yes.
It's like smoking. So you're going to find out down the road that there are problems from doing this. But for now, it's the 60s and we're advertising our cigarettes, only it's our phone and video. So one of the things you can do is you have access to information about feeling good. If you are not able to step out into nature, you can look at nature and listen to. You can listen, and you don't have to have pictures. You can, and this is what I do. I made sure I did it before surgery. I made sure I did it the day after surgery and the day of the surgery. What did I have? Friends, Big Bang Theory, Golden Girls, and I think America's Got Talent was on Tuesday. So I needed things that were sort of would make me breathe. Laughter makes you breathe, and plays with my head because you have to listen for the puns. I also could see humanity, the ups and downs of winning a contest, doing your best, being nervous on stage, or as I was explaining to my therapist, a great recipe for comedy for sitcoms is you always have that innocent person that doesn't have a clue. You always have a sarcastic person with a little bit of a biting personality because they're frustrated. You always have a person who can make a pun out of anything. You have someone who's willing to stand up to bullies, right? Maud. Think of Maud on and Sophia on the Golden Girls, right? They're stand up. You do not mess with an old Italian lady.
And that is connectedness because you're connecting no matter what age.
That's
with
right.
the characters. You can also, I've been listening to audiobooks more and getting rid of, like, news doesn't even play in my car anymore. And right now I'm listening to Drew Barrymore's new book, which is absolutely phenomenal and has a lot of really excellent self-talk in it. I would recommend it to anybody who wanted to listen to it. And again, it's that sense of connectedness. And she went through a significant amount of various kinds of trauma in her young life and
Right.
older life. And it's a good place to be. We have lots of ways we can connect. And we have lots of people who've shown us how to grieve. And we need to figure out how to do it together again. Like we did in 2020, like we did in the 60s during all of the war chaos and loss, like we've done so many other times.
Yes.
I do want to send out thoughts to the family of all of those.
All of those
died
people.
this week in trauma and carnage. It's not easy being a young widow. It's not easy being a child without parents. It's not easy being parents without a child.
That's right.
All those people deserve absolute unconditional support.
Absolutely, Jill. And, I know you and I are going to continue to talk about muck, to tease out, because, it's like people who are afraid of, not afraid, but just get sick to their stomach if you talk about body parts and body functions. They literally just cannot do it. And there's nothing wrong with them. There are those that can.
And those who just don't have it. Yeah.
That's right. And, Jill and I, we will talk about the hard parts of grief and loss and trauma, and we will support you or anyone else that reaches out to us as we reach out to others. This is our connecting point. This is the way we do this. We do it in our private lives, even outside of our jobs. It's just who we are. And Jill and I found each other to make a stronger point. And to be able to do it on this platform is important.
And a gift.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go out and spread the positive, provide the support,
the connection,
and avoid the ugly. Turn it off, folks. Stay connected instead. Any way you can. And if you need to, borrow a dog from a pound and take them for a walk.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always possible.
That is always possible.
We will see you guys next week. And then after that, I will be on my way to Alaska.
She'll be Alaska. who knows who I'll have as a guest.
Absolutely. Should be fun. Bye, everybody.